Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. I haven't done a live in a long time, and I hope you had a good week. As you'll know, Notting Hill Carnival was on Sunday and Monday, and I felt like I had to come and say a few things about talking about gatekeeping and Carnival and gatekeeping and our culture. So I had shared something earlier this week about are we too open? The question, are we too open, right? And I was like, hell yeah, yes we are. And I still feel that way. And I have a question for y'all. In terms of, because this is a conversation I was having with somebody, right? And they're talking about our openness is a response to our trauma. In terms of us having to feel to be the happy ones, the smiley ones, the open ones. Come everybody, y'all can come in our thing. We are not the savage people. We are not the uneducated people. We are not the uncool people. And that we as Caribbean people have spent our life trying to prove ourselves to other people. And I mean, I would love to know your thoughts on that, because in many ways I agree. Because so for example, I'm from St. Lucia, right? So a lot of times, like growing up, it's like we have to prove to Americans that we're cool, right? So we listen. I mean, I love hip hop anyway, but it's like we prove it to Americans because they'll say some very dismissive thing. Then prove ourselves to English people. Then even prove ourselves to our Caribbean family, because you know many from bigger islands will say, all you small island people. Have been very dismissive of our music and our culture, and we're spending so much time trying to fight to prove to people. Then of course trying to prove to white people, and within our tourism industry, and having to prove to white people that we are amazing and that our culture is beautiful and that we are intelligent. So we have to change our accents, right? Change our because they cannot understand us. That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. If you articulate yourself in your accent, they can understand. So it's always we are within our culture constantly trying to prove to white people, our African American family, proving to our African family that we're black enough, right? Because many of us have been told that we're not really black, right? And so we're spending so much time, and then we have our infighting as well. And it's the Caribbean people, the conversations the Caribbean people have had in how we have been spoken at, not spoken with, spoken at, has been very reductive. And our response is to be performative. And our response is to be welcoming. And our response is to try and prove to everyone that we are not what they say we are, right? So when it comes to Carnival, we have this thing that Carnival is for everybody. And yes, Carnival is for everybody to attend. Carnival is for everybody to attend. And there's many ways that you can participate as a spectator. You can dance alongside us and you can sing alongside us. But it's not for everybody to just come up in the thing, okay? Now, currently, there is a Twitter and Instagram war that's happening within our Caribbean family and our family from the continent. Now, in something that I shared, that many of you also shared further on, is speaking about the music that's played at Carnival. So, because of course Afrobeats is huge. Afrobeats is like the new pop music. You hear Afrobeats everywhere, and I love Afrobeats. And when Afrobeat started, I was happy to see like my African family being elevated in this way, and that you're seeing African people not as Save the Children adverts, but flossing, living large, being sexy and beautiful, and everyone is aspiring to be like that. That makes me happy. So even when you're seeing things like, it took like Black Panther for people to be really pro-African. It's like Black Panther and Afrobeats, right? And like I said, it makes me happy, right? And I love Afrobeats. So there is this very heated discussion that's happening online, where insults are being thrown And I feel like Caribbean people are once again being talked at. Because there is this misconception that just because something is named as black, that anyone black has a passport to enter or to have a say in how in which it should be done. Now, that's not true, because blackness is not a monolith. Let me say that again. Blackness is not a monolith. We are not one thing, okay? We dance to bachata and salsa. We dance to compa and zouk. We dance to calypso and dancehall, right? Bashment and lovers rock, right? We have like 200 genres of music, and that's the Caribbean alone. It's like calling hip-hop, saying all of hip-hop is the same. We have West Coast hip-hop, East Coast hip-hop, down south hip-hop. Louisiana hip-hop is different to Atlanta hip-hop. So why is it that we are always being condensed, and it's like blackness is just like painted with one black brush? So, you know, now that Afrobeats has been popularized and you're hearing it on the road and stuff in Carnival, I feel like our African family is coming to dictate how we should do Carnival, because Carnival has been misrepresented as a free-for-all for everyone to just come and have a say. Now, this is our fault. This is our fault. And this is why it's up to us as Caribbean people to start educating, because of course we have been welcoming people in, but not giving them the history. We're not giving them the backstory. We say, oh, come. Now I'll give you all a personal story. My partner is from Ghana, and I introduced Diamond to soca music from early o'clock. I started bringing him to fetes. Then I started putting him in dirty mass and things like that. And you know, this year, my African partner was singing all the soca music. He was there in his dirty mask. He was wearing his costume, but still being very much a Ghanaian man, right? I'm not asking him to pause his culture or who he is. I'm asking him to be part of this thing, and it happens in this way, and this is how we do it. But it's like every time, it's like we have to pander to other people's demands, be they black or white. And I feel like Caribbean people are not respected. And it's like we don't put our foot down enough. So, you know, in terms of this thing of saying that how Caribbean people are being anti-black because we're saying, oh, we don't want to hear Afrobeats on the road. Allow me to explain that for a moment, please. Okay? Calypso music, soca music, bouillon music, and there are other genres of music that were created specifically for Carnival. So these things stemmed way back when our African ancestors, had left the plantations, or even doing things whilst on the plantations and developing this type of music where they'd ridicule and talk about massa, they talk about this governor or this policeman or this driver or whatever, and make fun. You know, one of the oldest songs that I've come across was this white slave owner lady complaining about this thing, and she couldn't understand like the double meanings of the song, but you're making fun of her. Okay, that's the beginnings and the foundation of calypso and soca music and all those things. We're chanting out against certain things. We're chanting about joy and all those things. We're going in front of the governor house and in all of these spaces. This is why Carnival is about movement, a parade, because we are entering spaces where we were not welcome. We're entering spaces to whine and dance and to celebrate our skin, right? And who we are and our voices. And those genres of music are reflective of that spirit. So this is why we insist on having music like soca, calypso, bouillon, and so on the road. Afrobeats does not speak that story, right? It speaks a different story, right? If there's Afrobeats music that's singing words about Carnival, that's singing words about the Caribbean family, if there are Afrobeat songs that's speaking about that history or that sentiment or that feeling, I would welcome that. But there's a time and a place for every genre of music. Now, as I mentioned in the thing I had shared before, I'm a hip-hop head, you know. I grew up watching BET and taking my cassette recorder and making mixtapes. I love hip-hop. I'm not going to walk into a hip-hop battle and demand to hear martial music or calypso music. I will respect where I am, respect that culture for what it is at that specific time. Okay, I'm not going to walk into a Nigerian wedding and demand to hear Kenyan music. I'm not going to walk into a Ghanaian celebration and demand to hear calypso music. I respect where I am. I enjoy the culture that I am assimilating myself into or coming to be part of, and respect it for what it is. And I feel like respect is not reciprocated. I'm not even talking about white people. I'm talking about our African American family and our African family. And what I'm asking is for us to extend these mutual courtesies. That's what we're asking. We're not saying that we don't want you to be part, because if you speak to Caribbean people, all of us say, come and jump Carnival, come in this, come in that, come to this fest. We always telling people come. So it's like we're not telling you don't come. We're just saying that this is how we do it. This is the music we play. This is the songs we sing. This is like the rituals that we participate in. And the music that we use is reflective of the spirit. And the foundation of Carnival is this type of music. Okay? And then certain music changes different energies. So for example, dancehall. So I'll tell you all. So I did a poll in the story. Some of you all participated. And I asked the question, should non-Caribbean music be played at Carnival, right? 76% of you all said no, non-Caribbean music should not be played at Carnival. Then I asked the question about dancehall. I think it was about 68% of you all said yes, dancehall can be played in Carnival, right? Now, my thing is, there's certain types of dancehall too, right? Not all dancehall is the same. Like, not all hip-hop is the same, right? You know, hip-hop music, like, I don't know, Wu-Tang is different to hip-hop music, like the Fugees. Like, they talk about different things, right? Nas talks about different things that, I don't know, Drake talks about. So in the same thing with dancehall too, dancehall has different themes and different moods and different emotions. So it's the type of dancehall as well, because there's some dancehall that has that's very aggressive, and sometimes that aggressive feeling is for certain times and certain spaces. It's not really a space for Carnival. Carnival is not something that's supposed to be feeling aggressive. I was on the road at Caribana. They played some old school dancehall. Who was shocking out most on the road? Me. So I'm not going to say dancehall should not be played on the road either. But it's a type of dancehall too. And I asked DJs to be mindful of the energies of the music that they are playing. Right? So it's not for me to say, no, they shouldn't have dancehall on the road. It's the type of dancehall. It's not to just paint things with one brush. We need to stop reducing ourselves to this like very reductive monolith that, oh, dancehall is all the same. No, it's not. Okay, you cannot say Will Smith and J. Cole are the same. You cannot do that. So same thing for dancehall. So I just wanted to clarify a few things when it comes to these discussions. So in terms of gatekeeping and Carnival, who owns it? Who has a say? How should it go? What should it be? Right? Yes, Lovell is saying, my friend who's here on the line, that dancehall should be played in the sound systems. Now, some of you may not know, or who have never been to Notting Hill Carnival, which is the second largest carnival in the world, okay? Or Street Fest or whatever. There's Brazil, there's Notting Hill, and then Trinidad. So about 2 million people come to Notting Hill Carnival every year. Of that, if say we have 30,000 people in costume, that's a lot, right? So they have sound systems. Now, sound systems were created by the Jamaican community who, you know, kind of replicating what they do in Jamaica. So they have the street corner kind of sound systems where the community would say, okay, who have a piece of plywood, who have this, who have that, and they create a whole entire sound system. And it's like a neighborhood session, right? Who coming on the mic, who doing this or whatever. So this sound system culture was replicated in Notting Hill by the Jamaican community, right? So you would not really find soca music playing in a sound system. Now this has evolved to, now they have grime music sound systems, jungle music sound systems, house music sound systems, and everything genre of music that has nothing to do with Carnival at all. Now, in my personal opinion, Carnival is about movement. There's a power in moving through the spaces, like I said, that you have not been welcomed to, right? There's a power in me standing up in front of a multi-million-dollar house, right, that I could never afford to buy. Well, I shouldn't say never, but you know what I'm saying, right? And I then my costume and I singing, "It's a riot in here, boy," and I dare my friends, and it's a whole pandemonium. There's a freedom in that. So to me, Carnival is about movement, but I digress, right? I feel like we need to stop, please, attacking each other and insulting each other. I have refused to go on some of the pages. I think there are some large Nigerian pages who have been saying a lot of disparaging and hurtful things about the Caribbean community. Some of us have responded and retaliated in ways that may not be, I guess, the most healing way. Of course, because it's hurtful, it's like you juke me, I juke you back, right? Now, I would like to extend an invitation to my friends from the continent to spend some time with us. And when I say to spend time with us, listen to some of our music. Soca music, for example, my frustration as to why soca music, for example, should be amplified in carnivals is because we are not an internationally recognized genre of music. Most streaming platforms have very little soca or do not even recognize soca music as an actual genre of music. Soca has been in existence for a very, very long time. A friend of mine shared with me Machel Montano's album lists, okay? Not song lists, album lists. Machel Montano's album list is about 30 albums, okay? All right? And that songs that made it to the album. So you cannot say there's not enough soca music to play, and that's one person. Okay, Machel has been performing since Machel has been a performer for 40 years. So, and he's not the first. So, but we still we don't get any recognition. We do not get played on the mainstream radio stations. Afrobeats does. We do not get played in the clubs. Afrobeats, hip-hop, and all these genres do. Afrobeats, hip-hop, and dancehall are recognized on international platforms. They are played in the clubs. They're played on the radio stations. They get Grammys and all of that, right? And soca music still fighting. And like Carnival is like a one time of the year to have that. It's a one time. And now we're having all of these external people who have no interest in learning the culture, no interest in learning about stick fighting or dirty mass or whatever. They want to come, wear a nice costume, take pictures for Instagram, and hear the music that they've been listening to for 363 days of the year and make these demands and then talk down at us. So understand the frustration from the Caribbean community when because Carnival is not 2 days of the year for us. Carnival is every day. All the Caribbean people who waking up in the morning, they playing soca once they brushing their teeth, ironing their clothes, whilst they bathing, whilst they're cooking. Carnival exists every single day for us. So when we finally have our day on the road and then people come in and telling us what to do, understand how that's supposed to make us feel, because we do not have the privilege. We don't have the privilege of putting on a radio station today and hearing our music. We don't have the privilege of putting on Spotify and finding the most amazing catalog of our music. We don't have that privilege, okay? We don't have the privilege of saying so-and-so won a Grammy, or so-and-so is on American Music Awards, or hearing soca music in a film or whatever. All we see is bad accents on TV when we finally get in some Netflix something and some terrible representation of our culture. We don't have the privileges that our African family and our African American family has, or our Black British family has. We don't have that. So yeah, Juveram, yeah, I think that's the last time I did a very extensive live. So I'm extending an invitation to my African family, my African American family, and my Black British family to take a little bit of time to learn some about our music. We have amazing music, you know. To learn some about our costumes, or maybe how long the same girl you want to ride on and sing. Maybe find out how long did it take for that costume to be made, or how much did you pay for it? Because the thing is that in all the conversations I've had this week, because I wanted to do a live from a long time before, and I say, I didn't want to do it when I was vexed, because I would say things that would maybe be misread. So I wanted to wait a week, about a week before, and I've had conversations with so many people, and the people who enjoyed Notting Hill Carnival the least were the masqueraders. The people who enjoyed Notting Hill Carnival the least were the ones who paid their money. The people who enjoyed Notting Hill Carnival the least are the ones who've been saving up to pay money for their costume. The ones who enjoyed Notting Hill Carnival the least are the organizers who haven't slept in weeks. The people who have enjoyed Notting Hill Carnival the least are the people who have been busting their ass to make this happen and put it on the road. The people who have enjoyed it the most are the ones who just woke up in the morning and decide they're going Carnival because it's a free-for-all. And they want to take wine on woman, and they want to pull and grab and invade the space that we have created. And that's why I said this year I've never felt more of a minority in the very thing that we create. And I am an ambassador of Notting Hill Carnival. Right? Now, I was saying Notting Hill Carnival, the committee needs to do better, the committee needs to do better. Yes, conversations we are being there's going to be some meetings happening and things like that, right? But what I'm saying is us as a community, a Caribbean community, need to take responsibility in educating the masses. Because a lot of people coming in Carnival and mashing up is youths that don't know nothing, right? Youths that don't know nothing. So, and I don't even know about the white media. The white media is the white media. They will say all the shit, expectations of a collective of black people, so violence is going to happen. But it is for us to educate. So in terms of my friends who are school teachers, maybe invite some of us Carnival people outside of Black History Month, please, to come and do a talk to the young people. Maybe, you know, put some money aside in the budgets so we can teach some of the children mask making so they know how long it takes to make a backpack, right? So they wouldn't come and mash it up, right? Or how long it takes to logistically put together a Carnival truck and everything like that. We collectively, as a Caribbean family, have the responsibility. If it is that we say we're not gatekeeping and we cannot keep people out of the Carnival, well, therefore it's our responsibility to educate people about the Carnival. So my friends who are teachers, principals, whatever, right? My friends who may be working in the police, let us do a workshop with the Metropolitan Police, right? Let's go into community spaces and start talking. All of those things. It's like this. We have the means and the capacity. We are the ones who own Carnival. Carnival cannot exist without us. So this is what I am proposing. I'm too tired to quarrel and go on this website and start, you know, shouting shit. Right? It's for us to educate. If people are getting tired of seeing just all these influencers coming from America, they're wearing this big frontline costume and taking a sexy picture and showing pictures only of ass. Mask bands too, right? How about, like, on some of the trucks, there's just a little paragraph, a little something, we're honoring this pioneer. So say we're honoring Claudia Jones for, you know, her sacrifice in creating Carnival. Or did you know that for the first Carnival that happened in Notting Hill, the money that was raised from selling the booklets was used to pay for the legal fees for those who were arrested in the race riots? Just put on a truck there, right? Or, you know, average construction time per costume, and put 3 weeks. Put down a truck, bap, right? Because mask makers are also people who are undervalued. I think a lot of people say, yeah, kind of people just they're out there to make money. Let me say, most mask bags don't making no money, okay? If they were to be paid per hour for the work that they're putting in, they are in deficits. Because the amount of money and time they spend putting things together per hour, they're not making no money. So it would be nice to have, for us to just start kind of spreading that education instead of arguing. And I'm saying, I argue whole week. So I'm not going to say, oh guys, let's just educate the masses. I cried a whole week. I let it out. I cried a whole week. And you know, it was hard because crossing the stage is one of the crescendos of Carnival. You crossing the stage, you showing judges your thing or whatever. So many mass bands could not cross the stage this year because they were stormed, right? And a good friend of mine, they were going to cross the stage, and she was, you know, assaulted by someone who ripped off a headpiece and dashed it away and whatever, and the police stood there and did nothing. Why did this man feel entitled to do that? Why did he feel entitled not just to assault her, which is extreme, but why did he feel that he could come in the band and do that? Right? I know some bands be making money, but the general consensus is they don't, right? Is that they don't. But what I'm saying is, why do these people feel that it's okay to encroach in that, right? To encroach in our space and not even do that, but disrespect our space. When it's St. Patrick's Day parade, who's all up in? We on the sides watching Chinese New Year, the dragon thing in the lettuce and whatever. We stand aside, we marvel, we may dance along, whatever, but we respect it for what it is. So why is it that people feel okay to disrespect us in that way? And that's because we're too open. Because we're not educating people about the culture properly. You know? So, and that what happened to my friend. That's one of many. That's one of many things that have happened to masqueraders. I've been playing Massive Notting Hill for 16 years now. This is a yearly occurrence. It's a yearly occurrence. Every year we get vexed. And, you know, I just feel the answer is education. It's not finger pointing and y'all do this and y'all do that or whatever. I'm not saying I haven't pointed fingers. I'm not saying I haven't said, oh, this, take out their people, right? So let them go Hyde Park or take out whatever. I'm not saying I haven't, I have. But what I'm saying is, we have to educate. So it's all good for us to stay there and cuss all the Nigerians on the Nigerian pages about all that sing and whatever. But that's because they don't understand. It's because they don't know. And it is because it's just because of lack of understanding and education. And who are the gatekeepers of this understanding and education? It's us, right? It's us. It's us. I'm not saying that cultural imperialism does not exist. I do believe that cultural imperialism does exist, and that there are sectors of our Black society who believe that they are the gatekeepers of anything Black, and they have say and dominion over everything Black. And this is what Caribbean people have had to deal with and contend with on a macro and micro level. And Carnival this year was a prime example of that. And when people say, oh, it's just a Black thing, so anyone can come and do any version of Blackness in it, that is cultural erasure. And it's also, as I said, very reductive in reducing our culture to be just one version of something. And it's unfair, and it's actually damaging to us, because people are going to think that it's only one version of us, right? There's many versions of us. So to just say, oh, it's a Black thing, so just play any Black music and whatever. No. Soca and Calypso was created for Carnival, and I've explained it early in the life, so I won't go back there. So I think that's all I would like to say. Also, I would like to add, I'd like to close this live about the murder of the young man that happened at Notting Hill Carnival, and of course, the mountain of negative press. Now, negative press was happening from before it happened, because I saw the Daily Mail. So for those of you guys who are not in the UK, the Daily Mail is a very problematic publication that is very much, it's a racist newspaper. Let me stop being politically correct, okay? It's a racist newspaper. Now, like the headline was, police make arrests as masqueraders and carnival celebrators or something, whatever, take to the streets. That was the first thing they put, police make arrests. That was even before the tragic murder happened on Monday night. Now, yesterday I had to go and do an interview for Sky News, and I was speaking to the interviewer, and he said that he was just speaking to the family of who lost, you know, their loved one. And he said to me that family was still defending Carnival. Now you mean to tell me these people who just lost their son, their brother, their nephew, you know, he had a girlfriend who's expecting a baby, so she just lost the father of her unborn child, and they were still having to defend Carnival. That is the extent of what us Caribbean people have to be doing constantly defending. Even when you just lost somebody, right, like not even a week ago, you still now have to go and stand up on a podium and defend the culture again, right? Because of this expectation and people telling us who we are and what we are and this and that, right? And that really hurt me that they had to be there. They couldn't even be mourning in peace. They still had to be defending us. So, anyways, folks, I am very tired, and I don't want to say be disheartened and say I come into Carnival again. That's impossible. But I would just like to say that me, Fiona, Know Your Caribbean Lady, I welcome anybody to come to Carnival, right? You can attend, okay? See us in all our magic and glory, we're amazing. But what I ask two things. I ask people who are not of Caribbean descent and so on to spend some time to learn a little bit more about the culture, why we play the music we play, why we wear the costumes we wear, why we do certain things like cover ourselves in paint and powder, why steel pan exists, right? In a nutshell, steel pan exists because the British government created this peace ordinance in 1880 to say the African drum is illegal last 40 years after the end of slavery. It's not a slavery thing. And that peace ordinance went on up until the late 1930s into World War II. And so what they did, people in the Caribbean, in Trinidad, got all of these old oil drums and created a new drum. So steel pan, this thing that people are very dismissive of, is actually one of the most revolutionary things that have come out of the Caribbean that has shaped the world. And now we have entire orchestras of over 100 people playing pan, right? So when people say, oh, that's steel pan, that's tin pan, peng peng music, right? Put some respect on them kind of things, but it's up to us to teach people those things. So when you listen to steel pan, you're like, my God, this thing is amazing, right? And therefore more people can attend Panorama, so these pan bands can get more money to continue and spread the culture some more, right? So I'm asking, you know, those who are not from a background of Carnival, I should say it like that, those who are not from a background of Carnival, to just spend a little time just learning a few things as to why. And then you're welcome to join us. And actually joining us, and I do not mean by just being on the sidelines, you can, if you pay your money, right, join a band, you are actually helping our community raise up, because Carnival generates, I think the estimate is 150 million pounds for that specific weekend. And we're not talking about the feds and all the events and things that happen, right? We generate so much money every year. And I think in Caribana, it's like something stupid like 500 million Canadian dollars, right? All this money is generated, and the Caribbean communities are still struggling after. So many people are in debt after. So many band leaders have thousands of pounds, dollars, pence to pay off, right? After. But we create all of this money, but the money does not come back to us. It does not. So I'm just asking people to spend just a little time, you know, maybe come to some of the parties before Carnival. Ask your Caribbean friend, what's that? Oh, can you send me a soca playlist, a calypso playlist? Oh, what do they mean? What do they mean when they say, you know, it's a riot in here? What does that mean? What's bacchanal? Like, you know, what's 640? Just like knowing those things so you can appreciate. Why all this, what's this paint thing? Why am I seeing people with horns and chains and they covered in all black? What's that? Ask the questions. Ask us. We will answer them for you. Okay? Then secondly, for the whatever is, I would like my Caribbean family for us to take responsibility in how we represent and showcase our culture. I think Instagram has been quite detrimental in terms of you seeing one version of Carnival. Now, I will say this is also because we have a lot of men who are photographers on the road, and there's a lot of fixation on covering ass only, and a certain type of woman only, a certain type of shade of woman only. That's the next life, right? There are a lot of, so within photography and videography across the board around the world, it's a male-dominated industry. I'm saying so as a photographer myself, and being a minority as a woman. So in terms of the type of photography and videography that's put up on Instagram by these professionals, it's coming from a male gaze. So therefore, there's a lot of focus on certain body types and ass and so on. Now, I encourage mass bands to have some more women, female photographers and videographers on the road. We do exist, right, to get an alternative. And I also ask people on a personal level, of course, put your sexy picture up. Put your sexy picture up, but maybe help by adding some context as to why you're doing it. Or maybe ask, when you pick up your costume, how long did it take to make my costume? I want to put that on my Instagram post to let people know the work that you all have put in. You know, so it's just about us collectively doing many different things all at once, and in that way we can, you know, keep the culture alive in a beautiful way. And I think the more you know about like how amazing Carnival is and the history of it, you're just going to appreciate it even more. The songs you're going to sing harder, the pan you're going to jam to more, like the oil, the jab oil on your skin going to feel even nicer. Like it's just adding, you know, it's not going to take away. So I feel I should stop talking. I'm sorry I could not see all of your comments. It's hard to talk and read at the same time. I will save this live. Please share it with your friends and family. And when I say family, I mean extended family. You know, our African American family, our family from the continent, our family in Britain and across, you know, everywhere. And let us collectively save Carnival. Let us collectively bring it back. Bring back the beauty that it is. It's not lost. We still have it. We still own it. And that we welcome people to come. Just don't tell us how to cook food in our own house. That's all. Bye, y'all. I'm just trying to end this.